Alright, let's get started.
Keep eyes on the target. Right, don't let yourself be distracted. If you can't predict his moves, you can't fully counter his evasive maneuvers. Not too shabby for 4 months of training. Every day, these kids show more promise.
Show me what you've
Take
learned.
Isegai and Miyahara, for example. Cat-like reflexes. When they work together, often as not, their blades hit home. Then there's Karma. At first blush, all sarcasm and laziness. But behind that facade lurks the instinct of a killer. And the girls. Okano's gymnastics background makes her moves hard to predict. Meg easily has the reach and momentum of her male counterparts. These are the standout would-be assassins of the group.
Don't forget Kuro-sensei, the ideal teacher. A man of grit and character whom none have the heart to kill.
This is my interior monologue, damn it. No one wants your 2 cents. Truth be told, the other students may have a long way to go, but they've come a lot further than I dared hope.
What was that?
Ouch.
Sorry, that block was a little over the top.
I'm good, no worries.
Eyes on the target. You gotta see stuff like that coming.
Yeah.
Nagisa Shiota. What the? Did I just have a momentary lapse of sanity?
Man, I'm having no luck hitting that guy.
There's like 0 chinks in Mr. Karasuma's armor.
Excuse me, sir. We were wondering if you'd like to grab a bite to eat with us.
Sorry, no, I'd love to, but there's still a lot of work that needs to get done.
Oh.
0 chinks in his personal life, too.
He's definitely a man who prefers to keep his distance. It's like there's a wall of ice between him and us.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's super cool and everything, I mean. I don't know. You think it's only because he has to be?
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to go to jail. Just saying.
Hey, Kurasuma!
Takaoka?
Another new teacher?
Yo! Name's Akira Takaoka, and I'm here to give your gym teacher a hand. Pleased to meet you, gang. So what do you say? Ready to have some fun?
No spoilers for anything. We've already had our first warning last week regarding spoilers. 4 months of knife training. How long are the semesters in this school? If this is 4 months since the last episode. This is definitely a second opening. Original openings are always much more catchy. The second and third openings are kind of like, because it's already established itself. Though I don't understand what's with the knocking. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Talent time.
Whoa, is that?
It's cake!
I want...
Handmade eclairs from the Hermes!
These look sort of pricey, sir. Are you sure?
Yeah! Chow down, kiddos. I didn't break the bank so we could stare at these babies all
You
day.
really know your way around brand name sweets, don't you? Nice.
Trust me, when it comes to the good stuff, it's love.
Built like a truck and adorable.
So you're gonna take over PE to help Mr. Kurasuma get caught up?
Yep, those are my marching orders from the brass at HQ. Poor guy needs some time to himself. And this fellow must be Kuro-sensei. Please help yourself. Don't want to die on an empty stomach.
You know, sir, for being colleagues, you and Mr. Karasuma are night and day.
He's nice to us and all, but you're like the neighborhood dad.
That's
Dad,
creepy.
I like the sound of that. Life's too short not to spend it with people you think of as family. Am I right, gang? All right, everybody here? Now, things are gonna be tougher than usual, but stick it out like the champs I know you are, and we're talking more sweets.
For us? Or are you really just saving them for yourself?
Nope. Don't want to ruin this girlish figure.
How are you kosher with this idiot?
Excuse me, but does she really need to fold her arms to pull up her boobs? Those things are big enough already. I mean, they're bigger than her head at this point. What the f***? There is such a thing as too big, you know.
If he was a toupee, a chin strap couldn't make him look phonier.
Even Karma can tell, and he's not here today.
Look, he and I go back to the Airborne Brigade. We're not best friends or anything, but based on the information I have, he's a great teacher. Young people respond to him. He speaks their language. That's what you want in an educator.
Why do they look nervous? And why are they topless? I mean, you know a smile is fake when it's not symmetrical, and I see asymmetrical smiles everywhere. What the hell? What the f is this? Oh boy. Oh boy.
I think maybe I've been going about this the wrong way. My approach was to draw a line, stay professional, but taking on the role of father figure might be more effective. Huh?
Why they tied?
Okay then, along with your new training regimen comes a new schedule!
What?
What? No way!
We have 10 periods now? We train till 9 p.m.?
That's the idea, little grasshoppers. Don't be glum, think of the payoff. This curriculum will turn you into lean, mean killing machines. You're gonna love it!
Wait, hold up. This is ridiculous. First off, this is school. We gotta think about grades, too. I mean, come on, we can't go by this. When are we supposed to
Rule number 1, we don't do can't. Rule number 2, we're a family and I'm the dad. Show me a family where dad ain't in charge and I'll show you a family in crisis.
Oh, Jesus titty f***ing Christ.
If this is too much for you, sit it out. I'll have my people back at HQ send in replacements for the whole class. That said, I'd much rather see you stick it out. A father loves each of his children unconditionally. The thought of losing even one of them breaks his heart. We're gonna save the world, kids, and we're gonna do it as a family. There are 2 essential ingredients needed to earn loyalty of your students: affection and fear. Well, you're gonna do everything Father tells you to, eh?
Oh, Jesus Christ! He's effectively using the Sun Tzu principle of reward and punishment, but is interpreting it within a family context. So if you've read Art of War, a military unit where punishment is dealt out before your soldiers are able to build attachment to you, and they'll be useless. But if they're attached to you and you're not able to dish out punishment when it's required, your soldiers will be useless. Which kind of explains why it's friendly at the beginning to try to get people to form an attachment. And he's using the figure of a father because father figures you form attachments to, which is why they tend to abuse children and get away with it. The issue with this is the timeline's all messed up. He's brought them desserts like 30 minutes ago, and then 30 minutes later he's kneeing them in the stomach before they've had an opportunity to, form an attachment to him. But then he says you need fear. That's pretty much the example Sun Tzu used when he was first speaking to the emperor. He basically said, I can whip your military into shape. And then the emperor, as a joke, basically got his concubines, which are basically, his women. And he's like, okay, whip these concubines into a military unit. And Sun Tzu basically took a sword and handed it to the most senior concubine and said, tell them to form ranks, which is basically form a line. And she basically giggled and said, a sword? I can't hold such a thing. And the 5 other concubines were basically laughing. At that point, he basically sliced her head off. On the spot. And then he asked, which is the next senior one? And one very, very scared concubine said, that's me. He handed her the sword and said, tell them to form rank. And the other 4 concubines basically got into a line and formed rank. That's the principle. He's effectively... Let's see how this goes. But I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable that he's tying up his students and making them topless and whipping them. And this is a girl. Oh, God.
Actually, sir, to tell you the truth, I'm not much for PE. If I have to do it, I prefer Mr. Karasuma's class.
Kazaki!
Looks like we're having a little communications gaffe. The only answer here is yes.
The only answer here is stabbing your gut out and watching the chocolate milk pour out. Kids, no matter how good he is, if you all grab real blades, he can't stop you all. Stab him. Lots and lots, and don't twist. We want him to bleed out slowly. And squeal like the little piggy that he is. Nothing like a big abusive piggy begging for mercy and not getting it.
If anyone else needs a dose of good old-fashioned nonverbal reinforcement, Daddy Dearest will be happy to oblige.
Oh, f it, I'm strapping him to a chair and slicing off pieces of his fucking arms and legs and feeding it to him slowly. F this shit.
Stop it!
Hey, did he twist your neck? Try moving your head side to side.
I'll be okay.
What about you?
I'll survive.
See, we're fine. Don't go getting your boxes in the wad. I'm not gonna go full throttle on my beloved fam.
Oh man, I'm gonna make him eat his own f***ing eyeballs.
Correct. Except they're not your fam. They're my students. Whatever you've been filling their heads with while my back was turned, it stops now. Sorry, big guy, this isn't your class. You teach your subjects, I'll teach mine. In phys ed, I call the shots. Nothing I've done falls outside acceptable corporal punishment. I gotta train these kids to kill you. That doesn't leave me a lot of time. I don't have the luxury of going easy on them. What, are you gonna attack me? Over a dispute about educational philosophy? Because if that's what this is, you just don't care for the way I teach.
The man will crush those children, body and spirit. And he's right. I don't care for it, but civility dictates I let him teach as he sees fit.
Excuse me, civility? Bashing kids up? Excuse me? What the f***? Civility? What civility? This is outright child abuse.
That's why I'm counting on you. You're on par with this fellow, are you not? I need you to shut him down.
Me? That's rich.
Bet this really grinds your gears, Karasuma. Me stealing these kids out from under you.
How is he still alive? Like what? Kuro-sensei kills him and what is the government gonna do? Kill him? Yeah, good luck with that.
You were always top dog of our old brigade. Never gave a damn about what I could do. And yet, here I am throwing a monkey wrench into your shot at promotion.
Oh, I get it. So you were always the underdog, so instead of focusing on yourself and improving yourself, you try to ruin others. Wow. Jesus.
Let half of these snot-nosed punks be pulverized. If I can shape the other half into octopus-killing warriors, it'll be me reaping the glory when the deed is done. You'll be licking my boots till the day they put you out to pasture.
Jesus, someone's got a chip in his shoulder. It's almost like an inferiority complex.
This is seriously not funny.
300 squats? We're gonna freaking die!
Okay, 1, you're not gonna die. 2, you're not doing them properly.
Mr. Karasuma, please!
Watch it. Karasuma ain't part of our family, dollface. Someone needs a lesson. Disrespecting Daddy makes him very angry!
That's enough. If you hurt these kids, then you'll have to answer to me.
Ah, there it is. I was wondering when you were gonna throw your chips in, old buddy. Waiting to make this interesting. What's the big deal? Who are you to criticize how I choose to teach? If this is something you and me need to settle like men, then I'm up for the challenge. Just remember, we're teachers first. Here's what I propose. Cherry-pick your star pupils out of the students you've trained by your methods. Set them on me, and if their knife so much as grazes my aura, I'll concede that the way you train is superior to mine. No fuss, no backpedaling, I'll pack it in and leave. We won't be using these, though. No, sir, we won't. When the object is to kill a human being, you can't rely on toys.
There's a problem with that. The kids are used to using plastic knives because they know if they land the blow, it's not going to hurt the other person. Giving them a live blade is actually going to dull their performance because they're going to be thinking about hurting the other guy. Even if they want to hurt him, they're going to be too bloodthirsty to actually think with their brains, and they're going to miss. That's bullshit.
So we'll be using the real McCoy.
They're actually going to be useless with the real thing. They're not used to the weight of the blade. They're not used to it. They're going to be scared cutting someone else. They'll be scared of cutting themselves. It's going to throw them off. That's bullshit. Give them the fake one.
He wants to use an actual knife. This is ridiculous. These kids aren't prepared to take down a real human being, and you know it.
Don't get all concerned citizen on me. They ain't gotta kill nothing. Just come close. And I'll do you a solid by defending myself barehanded. This little trick works beautifully in the big leagues, too. Take a fresh-faced recruit wielding a blade for the first time, pummel the poor bastard within an inch of his life unarmed, and bingo. Instant alpha dog status.
Wait. Alpha dog status. So you were literally scraping the bottom of the barrel of your class, and your way of dealing with your incompetence is becoming an instructor and beating the shit out of beginners. That's like going back to first grade, acing the exam, and saying you're an alpha. That's not alpha.
What are you waiting for? Pick yourself a champion, or save us the headache and agree to let me run this show from now on.
Wish I could say I was sure about this. Are his methods as bad as all that? Maybe his take no prisoners policy is what saving the world calls for. I'm not sure of anything anymore. Still, look at him. How could I put one of these kids on the spot? Do I even have a star pupil?
I mean, there's only one that looks like he doesn't give a shit. Looking at you, blue-haired boy.
Nagisa, you're up.
What? Wait, are you kidding?
In my eyes, we're all fellow soldiers on a mission to save Earth from destruction. Whatever our differences are, we share that goal. The least you kids deserve for being put in this situation is my respect. I may not be much of a father figure, but I appreciate your dilemma. So if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to take up the knife. Our duty as teachers is to prepare you for life, not force you into it kicking and screaming.
This man always looks me in the eyes. My own family can't even do that. But him? No problem. Man, there must be so much he's not allowed to tell us. And I can't imagine why he's choosing me. But...
Well, I'll tell you why he's choosing him, because out of all the kids that are basically shitting themselves...
Maybe his take no prisoners policy is what saving the world calls for.
Look at all their looks. Fear. Shock. Anger. Looks a little bit angry. Looks worried. Absolutely terrified. Dead on the inside and hasn't been given any role in this anime since. Looking away, worried, scared. And you've got Nagisa just going like, fuck my life.
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Still, look at him. How could I put one of these kids on the spot? Do I even have a star pupil?
I mean, Nagisa's the only one that's not actually shitting himself. And another good thing about giving people a choice is if they make the choice, it's theirs. They've made the decision to do it. If you force someone to do something, they'll always fight you on it. They might not fight you right away, which is why the drill sergeant likes to break their spirits. He breaks their confidence, but they'll always want to fight back. But if they make the decision to be there, it's their choice to do it, not someone else's order.
Nagisa, you're up.
What? Wait, are you kidding?
In my eyes, we're all fellow soldiers on a mission to save Earth from destruction. Whatever our differences are, we share that goal. The least you kids deserve for being put in this situation is my respect. I may not be much of a father figure, but I appreciate your dilemma. So if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to take up the knife. Our duty as teachers is to prepare you for life, not force you into it kicking and screaming.
This man always looks me in the eyes. My own family can't even do that. But him? No problem. Man, there must be so much he's not allowed to tell us. And I can't imagine why he's choosing me. But... if he sees fit to hand me the knife, I'll trust his decision and take it. Either way, Takaoka is out of control. Somebody has to do something. I'm your guy.
Oh, come on, this twig? Eyes must be going in your old age.
What would possess that dumb bastard to pick him? This is gonna be a train wreck.
Patience, you'll see.
You think Nagisa will get anywhere near him?
I don't think so. Guy's a pro. Hell, how would you do with a real knife?
Oh, Nagisa?
Ready when you are. This is gonna be fun. Time to school these kids in the art of real humiliation. Dodge, taunt, beat. Wash, rinse, repeat.
It's important you understand this is real to him. He intends to make an example out of you. Treat this like any other assassination. You don't have to be stronger than your target. Just get one good strike in and the job is done. That's it. One.
It's dawning on him. Stakes are pretty high when the knife in your hand is real. He's thinking, wait a second, this is for keepsies. I can't take the life of another human being. There's nothing sweeter than the sight of a rookie turning pale at the thought of his first kill.
That's actually what happened if you read one of the books from one of the sergeants in Vietnam. He had his entire squad on a field, and there was a Viet Cong soldier running across, and he can remember his entire squad aiming and shooting at the guy and missing every single shot. And then the Viet Cong just basically stops and shoots every single one of his squad mates. His entire squad was aiming high because they didn't want to shoot another human being. That's the problem. They're not targets. They've never been taught to actually hurt other people, and they can't do it. When the moment comes there, they can't do it. That was the problem in World War II. A big chunk of people didn't actually want to take a human life. That's why it lasted so long. Same thing with World War I. Not everyone wanted to take a human life. And that just prolonged the war and disease and more casualties piled up. Most people were shot trying to drag their squad mates out of no man's land. Or trying to bring ammunition to people or something. It's actually... It's quite interesting. A very small number of people can actually do it. And the ones that actually enjoy it, those are the most fucked up ones. But that's when you get units like the SS. Those fuckers are just serial killers looking for an excuse. Their kill counts were through the roof. You had certain units throughout the Vietnam War that had more than 200 confirmed kills apiece. They were just butchering people. Whereas the rest couldn't shoot a human being. Even if they were shooting at them back, they couldn't do it. Thing is, this guy's very aware of it. That's why he gave him a live blade. He wanted to give himself the advantage. He did it knowingly. I spoke about it, but this guy knowingly gave him a live blade, knowing the kid couldn't do it. The guy's a piece of shit. Not only is he beating up kids, untrained kids, but he's also giving himself every advantage he can get. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel thinking he's some sort of fucking alpha. He's fucking pathetic. He's not even a beta. He doesn't even register. I don't even register him as fucking human. Hell, if he was crossing the road, I'd turn on the wind wipers.
Okay, this is bound to be a little different than what I'm used to, so I need to stay focused. Just remember Mr. Kurasama's advice. One strike. I just need one strike. I just need to kill him. So I'll give him a smile, walk towards him calmly, Totally nonchalant, like I'm on the way to school. And before he knows what's up, this gets real. That's right, you're about to die. No one keeps it together when they realize that. Even Koro-sensei gets thrown off. And you're nothing compared to him. Once you lose your balance, all it takes is a little tug. Here, let me help you down. There we go. You can block from the front, no problem. But when it's intact from behind, good luck. Looks like I win.
Did you notice how he blocked his sight? If you're ever behind someone, you want to drop them to the ground. You're not actually wrestling them. You're not grabbing them by the throat. No, you just block their eyes. Try to walk straight or keep your balance with your eyes closed. It's very difficult. Try to get up from the ground with your eyes closed. If your eyes are closed and someone pushes you, try to keep your balance. Take someone's vision out, they're fucked. Humans rely on their vision more than they realize. Very clever. Very clever. Very clever. It reminds me of this. It reminds me of this. I don't know if it was Bruce Lee or was some other martial artist, but this guy was basically like, my reflexes are so good, you know, you'll never get this thing out of my hand. Because when someone does something, right, it takes a little while for you to register that they're moving, hit your brain, and then you command your brain to, you know, basically close your fist. And this guy was basically saying, there's no way in hell, you know, you're going to get this out of my hand. My reaction time is so quick. And this guy's like, oh, I can definitely do it. And it's like, all these people have tried, and he's always closed it. And the guy's like, okay, you try. It's like, sure. And he's like doing this, and he just goes and slowly grabs it. And the guy was just basically shocked. He was expecting this really quick lunge, and the guy just grabbed it. Because he thought it was fake. He couldn't register that it was a real attempt. He just totally left fielded him, which is what happened here. Fucking amateur.
Looks like I win.
What the hell? Not something you see every day. Son of a bitch. The talent this kid's got is unreal. The way he strolls up to the target, hiding his intent until the last second, springing on them like a python. That explains the chill I got from him earlier. This goes beyond the instincts of a killer. Nagisa isn't a normal boy. He's a natural-born assassin. But should I nurture a gift like his, or shut it down?
Oh, wait a second. Was I supposed to use the back of my knife?
I'll take that, thank you. Game, set, and match, Mr. Kurasama. Outrageous! Giving one of my students a real knife? Have you lost your marbles? He could have been hurt, or worse.
Pretty sure you're quick enough on your feet to have kept that from happening. Still, though.
Easy, guys. Let's not make a big deal out of it, okay? I just did what Mr. Kurasama told me to, that's all. Ow, what was that for?
Sorry, I needed to make sure that was you. Sincerely, though, you're awesome. That whole ordeal was a total rush.
That smile on your face right before you got it?
If ever a man was unsure of himself right up to the moment of truth, it's you.
Think so, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You ungrateful punks! You think it's fun shaming your father figure, huh? Having the time of your lives pretending you've won? Hope it was worth it, because Daddy's about to rip you apart! Mind, body, and soul!
Not gonna lie, if we went for a round 2, I'd lose. But I'll tell you something. Whatever you do, you're not the boss of us. Mr. Kurasama is our PE teacher. That's all there is to it. When you try to be our dad, it just makes us feel like children. Mr. Kurasama may come off as all business, but he treats us as equals. He's approachable, he's cool, and he's got nothing to prove. Thanks for trying, but he's the class dad.
Am I the class mom?
To teach is also to confront such answers head on. Moreover, to do so by drawing from the well of their confidence in us. A student confidently answers a question you yourself were troubled by, and that's only the beginning. To teach is also to confront such answers head on. Moreover, to do so by drawing from the well of their confidence in us.
Oof, nice elbow.
Sorry if my colleague's a bit too big for his britches. He's not in a position to threaten you. Don't give him another thought. I'll negotiate with my superiors to put things back the way they were.
Mr. Karasuma!
It's gonna take more than that to be done with me! You get this job over my dead body!
That won't be necessary.
Principal Asano.
I trust you'll forgive the intrusion, everyone. I came to see our new hire in action. And it must be said, your methods are nothing short of a travesty. Granted, fear is the engine of education, but a teacher able to instill fear only through violence is nothing but a brute. And I do not employ brutes.
But I was only trying to...
Your walking papers. The Ministry of Defense does not call the shots here, and I intend to keep it that way. This is my school and my school alone. Remember that.
Damn it! 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 Damn it!
The man got handed a pink slip?
Does that mean Mr. Karasuma's back to being our gym teacher again?
I see the principal's confident as ever in his methods.
That makes one of us at least.
Huh?
What if Nagisa said he wanted to be an assassin when he grew up? Could you lead him there with a clear conscience?
Yes.
I don't think he realizes it yet, but he's got what it takes.
That's certainly a tricky one, I'll give you that. Alas, such dilemmas come with the territory. Every teacher secretly frets over whether the path he sets his students on is the right one, but he points the way to the best future he can see for them. Questions of right and wrong are often open-ended. We ask them, but the students must live their own answer. The pleasure of seeing them do so is what makes this job exhilarating.
Mr. Karasuma, sir? We were wondering, since we kind of got your job back for you and all, maybe we've got something in the way of a little thank you coming?
Yeah, Mr. TAKAOKA would have given us a bunch of sweets for being so good.
Why do I get a feeling that this blonde girl is the most likely in the class to sleep with the teacher? Setting my people back 10,000 years here.
We were wondering, since we kind of got your job back for you and all, maybe we've got something in the way of a little thank you coming?
Yeah, Mr. TAKAOKA would have given us a bunch of sweets for being so good.
Well now, I'm not much of a connoisseur. I guess you
Yoink.
could buy your...
Surely I deserve some thanks too!
Oh yeah? For doing what?
You've pretty much been on the sidelines the whole time.
Au contraire, boys and girls! I was scrutinizing your plight in thoughtful silence in hopes of demonstrating to Mr. Karasuma the true value of being
Let's
a teacher.
go, class dad! We can show you all the best places to buy
Sure.
sweets.
I might have my share of doubts about being a teacher, but this place is really starting to grow on me.
Gross! Is that how he grovels? How badly does he want this stuff?
What the fuck? Oh, I guess it's the only assassin. Yeah, it's a good hour. This was a really good episode. It brought up some interesting conversations. Especially about proper knife techniques. Secretly, I need to teach Hutchin more knife techniques. I mean, she knows the theory, but her practice is kind of, you know. You know, the funny... I'm getting a bit of flashbacks from my upbringing. I used to play fight with my father growing up. You know, before he became a brute that used to beat the living shit out of me within an inch of my life. Even as a little kid, we used to do play fighting. And I never really understood it at the time. But I guess that explains why I have semi-decent instincts in close range. Even though I had to go through the difficulty of accepting that I have to actually hit people. I used to be unable to hit people out of the fear that I might hurt them. I'm over it now, but it took a while. Interesting shit. What the fuck is going on here? Episode 14. This looks like a bully. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. No, this was a really interesting episode. Damn, they put a lot of thought into these episodes. I like that they did a little bit of research. It feels like they did a little bit of research into the combat. I quite appreciate it. They do very little research when it comes to the firearms, but they seem to do semi-decent research when it comes to the hand-to-hand stuff. What kind of trick with a knife when dropping and grab again and lunge? What is this, Game of Thrones? That's very risky. That is very risky. Those kind of tricks are very risky. You wouldn't really let go of your weapon in combat. You don't do that. It's similar to throwing your weapon in combat. Everyone thinks throwing knives is cool. But what happens if you miss and you just give your target a weapon? You know, it's... What looks cool and what people actually do are two very separate things. Very good episode. Amazing episode, actually. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And the principal really gives off this whole draconian, almost Dracula-like aura. He doesn't physically have to do much, but his sheer presence is so dark, you know? He's got that feeling of sheer malice, almost like the devil, which is quite interesting. It makes me want to, you know, see what he does. He's sort of observing from the sidelines. He's almost omnipresent in that he's everywhere yet he's nowhere sort of thing. Makes you wonder how many times he's sticking around, you know, Class E without him actually being noticed. Only because of Nagisa, not for their abusive asshole. Oh, Nagisa was phenomenal in this episode. I really liked it. And the whole thing about whether or not to nurture a student's talent is really interesting when you see it time and time again, where teachers just empower their students with knowledge and skills, never really nurturing their way of thinking. Which I always found a bit dangerous, because I've always sort of developed a relationship with whoever taught me whatever the skill was. And I found with a lot of other teachers, they would always ask you very open questions, not only to hear your answer. Answers can be faked, answers can be rehearsed, but more so way of thinking. And only after really getting to know them did they actually teach me the really saucy, you know, lessons. Before that, it was the whole basic thing where you can pick up anywhere. But the really valuable lessons that I learned from people only came after we developed a sense of trust with each other, which I find really interesting. That's the difference between a really good teacher and a sort of mediocre one. But I always found that a really good teacher shows you the path, but he doesn't actually walk it for you. You know, he sort of points it out to you. Doesn't point out the whole thing, but sort of shows you the next few steps, lets you walk it, lets you screw up, you know, lets you scrape your knee, but is always there to sort of point you in the next direction from there until you work it out yourself. It goes back to this story that I heard where, and of course there's so many of these stories, but the power of storytelling is that you remember the story, and from remembering the story you can remember the lesson, more than just giving the lesson. But anyway, you've got this old martial arts master, which is, you know, basically on his deathbed, and his most loyal, most, you know, intense students are like, oh, master, you know, you're passing away. Please, you know, give us the secrets that you've been hiding this whole time. And he's like, yes. Okay, in my sleeping quarters, you know, on the night shelf, on the second drawer from the top, you will find a book. That's where all the secrets are written. And like, bah, he dies. And so the students immediately run to the master's room and, you know, open the table side thing, second drawer, and they find this book. And they open the book. The book is blank. That's the fucking secret. Figure it out yourself, you assholes. You've got no excuse to not be better than your teacher. We have this painting of Masayama, and one of his most famous quotes is, "Poor is the student that does not surpass the master." And that's very true, because you've got this person literally holding your hand and guiding you through the process. You've got no excuse to not be better than them at some point. Only if you're bad at training and you don't take it seriously will you not surpass them. So, Not gonna lie, I have the manga right here, and the anime does a great job adapting the best moments. I say best moments as there are some things in here that wasn't adapted properly due to episode limitations, though they did adapt the whole Takaoka thing. And hell, I thought the centipede moment was the anime's doing, but it was also in the manga. Well, happy I caught this, but I'm asleep. Good night, everybody. Good night, we're too lazy. Empty book, or in another world, empty scroll. I'm sure the story's been adapted quite a bit. I'm really enjoying these anime, and I don't want to rush through them. I know some people want to see reactions to certain parts, and I do too, but I don't really want to not fully react and discuss certain moments, because moments like this episode are very rare in anime in particular. Well, I wouldn't say anime in particular, but they're very rare to get a very good high quality moment like this that is very discussable and sparks so much thinking. It's just absolutely amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to the next one. This is a very strong anime. It sort of opens up as this playful concept of murdering your teacher, but then becomes a story filled with life lessons. And I guess in some way or another, all the students and really all the teachers are learning by being teachers and in a way being students themselves. It's a really good anime. I'm enjoying it on so many levels.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun size, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.